nothing getting in the season. This is the half-year mark, so I don't care. It's basically 6 months away. Hey everyone, it's Crystal, and today I'm going to be doing another Battle of the Media! But it's not quite for the season that we're in right now. So, the holiday that this book pertains to actually is almost exactly 6 months away, so we're doing the halfway mark to Halloween, and we are going to go over a Battle of the Media of HalloweenTree. Yeah! Now, I grew up watching the movie, which is an animated feature done in 1993, but the book was actually written in 1972, and I discovered it online and of course had to read it because it's a childhood favorite of mine. I loved the movie, the animation really kept me going. Halloween was my favorite holiday, so of course I fell in love with a story that had to do with the history behind Halloween. So if you guys are interested, keep watching, and we're just gonna jump straight into the 5 comparisons that we do with book versus the movie. Okay, so jumping into it, number 1, we always go over what was omitted first, and in the movie, what was actually omitted were a number of the different stops that the kids and Mr. Roundshroud went to. Now, in the movie, as well as in the story, they go along with whatever the kids are dressed up as, and in the book there are more children, so they have a lot more stops. So in the movie, we missed out on things like cavemen, the Roman Empire. We missed out on a number of other things that really kind of added more background to the history of Halloween, and I understand why they did it, because you couldn't really have that much information in such a short animated movie, especially one that was made in 1993 for TV, but it still would have been nice to see those extra little additions, because some of it added in and made more sense even to what the storyline of the movie is and what the book is. So I was sad to not see those in there, but because I grew up with the movie, I guess I didn't really miss them as much. Number 2, what changed? Now, the big one to me that stuck out about what changed were the cast of characters. So in the movie that I grew up with, there were 5 kids total, and one of them was actually a female. One of them was a girl. And in the book, it was all boys, and there were 9 of them. So there was a lot more macho, masculine stuff going on in the book, whereas on the television movie, it actually had a little bit more evenly balanced, not as, like, heavily almost sexist at times. Now, it was, like I said, written in 1972, so things happen and things change in the meantime, but that was one of the biggest changes that I noticed, because my same old cast of characters that I grew up with were completely different. Another thing that changed that really shocked me was the way that the story got moving. So in the movie, Pipkin got sick and went off into an ambulance, and they didn't know what was going on, but then they thought they saw him running towards this haunted house, so the kids went after him to follow him. And in the book, they decided that that was just going to be one of their Halloween stops, was going over there. And then that's how they met Mr. Roundshroud. It had nothing to do with Pipkin or his health, but it just, again, another change that happened, that the story that I grew up with was completely different than the original story. What was included is number 3. The included thing that shocked me, I can't really think of anything. Everything was there that I had expected. Nothing was I was expecting to be omitted, but here again, it's probably because I saw this in reverse, so I watched the movie before I read the book, but everything that I read in the book that I thought was important to be in the movie was. So I would say there wasn't anything extra shocking, except for maybe actually keeping with his Cannabis Clavicle Mound Shroud is the full name. It's just like blah, 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 blah. And kids, because it's a mid-grade book, probably had a hard time reading or understanding those words. So I guess that could be my shocked thing that was included, but that'd be about it. Number 4 is the character comparison. Mr. Roundshroud was the same grumpy old man. A little bit different motivation, but he still had his unofficial magical powers to be able to go back in time and transport all these kids to the different locations. The kids, for the most part, were, at least the ones that were in the book and the movie, had a lot of the same spirit. Pipkin was the one who was constantly running away, and they were trying to keep up with him, which is the same feeling. And the kids were, you know, self-sacrificing to try and get their friend and keep their friend Pip. So for the most part, it was a pretty true to the book character comparison. But overall, number 5, I still want to say that I liked the movie better, but I think that's because I'm biased and I grew up with it. I also thought that having the inclusion of the female and the twist in the story having to save their friend Pip was even more compelling than the book was. So there's my HalloweenTree Battle of the Media. The media actually wins. The television show, movie, cartoon thing, it's actually on YouTube if you want. You can check it out. I would recommend it. I really enjoyed growing up with it, and like I said, it gives a little bit of a history of Halloween and the different cultures that gave us the influences of the Halloween that we celebrate today. So thank you so much for watching. Like this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Check us out on other social media, and I hope you guys are having a fabulous day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone. Get out of your light.